Well, one of the elements that's being used a lot in various areas, as well as your game, is storytelling.
Yes.
And they're doing that in market research as well.
Yeah.
But I found it very effective, what you're doing. I've not seen that approach used in a psychological app before. And so, you've got some interesting stories. There was a story of the prince of a kingdom, and in the process of the story, one is challenged as you move through levels. So there are the levels where you're learning some psychological content. Mm-hmm. For example, you drew on the work of John Gottman, and
yes, I love Gottman.
Yeah, very important work. I interviewed his wife, but didn't get through to him. So, but interesting work. And so I remember the lesson on an emotional bid.
Yeah.
And so then you move along to the story about the prince and his kingdom, and he needs to rid it of trolls. And somewhere in there you have to recognize that one of the statements that you can choose between is an emotional bid. So there's a psychological concept. I was familiar with that concept, but I'd kind of forgotten about it. And so I didn't mind being having that sort of reactivated, and maybe I'll be more alert to it in my marriage. No promises, but
one of the things that I say the app does is, so the first part of the app is you learn a skill, right? So in a way, what is therapy? You learn a new skill set to be able to deal with adverse emotional or mental situations, right? So you learn 2 skill sets, and it's in a fun, gamified way with little people and drawings and stuff like that, and then a multiple choice. And then you have to use it in a choose your own adventure. So you're implementing what you just learned in a situation. And we have 5 different genres. So the first one is Dungeons and Dragons. The next one is, I think, sci-fi. Then there's an office story, and so on and so forth. But the most important part of the game is actually when you put the game down, you go into the real life, and then a partner, for example, places an emotional bid, and you go, oh, I know what my partner is doing, and I know exactly how to react to that. And that is when the skill set has become part of your tool set, your psychological tool set.
Yeah. Well, I think it's very interesting what you're doing.